Hello, hello. This is Clene. I just wanted to hop on here live with you to go over the nursing process and how the nursing process can help Black career women and registered nurses do very hard things when it comes to the workplace. Oh, God. Sorry, my allergies are kicking my butt. You got Okay, so if you're a registered nurse, then you already know what the nursing process is. You might even hate the nursing process as far as care plans are concerned. But what I want you to take away from today's live is that the nursing process, the care plans, is the only way registered nurses hold the position that they hold, delivers critical thinking, and help you to plan out interventions, nursing diagnosis, implementations, reassessments, evaluation, referrals out. Every, and I mean every employee who is dealing with any workplace discrimination, any chronic job stress that is lasting longer than 6 weeks, and any referrals to employment assistance programs that lead them into psychiatry should be should be coming to the workforce care center so that they are not misdiagnosed, mislabeled, mismanaged, mismedicated, and that you can get back to work better than when you left. So let me go ahead and introduce you to the nursing process as it relates to work fatigue. Last time I tried to share a screen, it didn't work out in my favor too well, but we're going to see what happens today. Boy, I gotta be doing something just so wrong. Manage on a second device. Share this link to your live and moderators. Okay. No. Okay, well, all right. Well, okay, so I guess I will not be sharing the screen, but I'm going to go ahead and discuss it in detail for you all today. So, the nursing process as applied to work fatigue. There are 5 levels of work fatigue, okay? There are moral, physical, emotional, ethical, and spiritual. You will want to know which level of work fatigue you are dealing with before you go into your doctor's office. And most people who finally decide, okay, I've been dealing with this work stress, this job stress, this issue, this micromanagement, this whatever for a very long time, and I am completely exhausted. You don't even know where the entry point was. So it would behoove you to take a step back before you just go in and talk about your symptoms. A lot of mental health professionals, doctors only want to hear the symptoms. That's what they treat. They treat symptoms. This is no slight or no shade against them. They're doing their job. This is a nurse's job, is to assess your environment, okay? To implement, to make sure that you're not being misdiagnosed or injured because no one evaluated the environmental stimuli. So that's up to you. to seek out the least invasive treatment before going to get medicated and taking medication and doing invasive therapies based off your symptoms, but never addressing the root cause. So I just gave you the 5 levels of work fatigue, which are physical, mental, emotional, ethical, and spiritual. This is absolutely free. All you have to do is take the quiz, and then we will get in contact with you to go over your results and give you what our workforce care recommendation is based off of your results. So I have been implementing and using this nursing process since 2012, when I was going through my very own systemic racism issue based off disability at Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center, where I was practicing as a registered nurse, was experienced a repetitive stress injury that took me away from the bedside and sent me into the worst experience of discrimination that no one should ever have to experience. But God, He was able to show me the things that He wanted me to see, and I was able to let go and detach and really just decide to study what it is that I was experiencing and trust in Yahweh to lead me through. And so this is why we have today a new nursing process, raised, resurrected, if you will, to help other people who are experiencing workplace discrimination going off on FMLA. Because if you've been following me or listening to me for any amount of time, then you already know that FMLA is the entry point. FMLA in and of itself is an amazing federal right for qualified employees to have. What's happening, though, is that 12 weeks that you're off, you are being misdiagnosed, especially if you're dealing with workplace mental health issues. You're being misdiagnosed. That's just off the bat, because you did not have these issues before something happened to you in the workplace, right? So you didn't address the stressor. The chronic stress lasted longer than 6 weeks. And now you have these manifestation of symptoms, which do look like a disease, an impending disease, mental health, autoimmunity, whatever the case may be. You may even have some legal issues that could be boiling on the back burner, but you don't know. You don't know. You got a whole lot going on. This is why I say that the FMLA is the entry point. It's the entry point to entering into the system. And the system is big, it's bad, and it's confusing. And so many do not have this information that you need, so you make very hasty decisions that really does not satisfy you in truth. You do it so that you can hopefully get back to work. You do it so that you be compliant. You do these things, and for so many like you who enter the system before you, it does not pan out to be the best decision. I want you, if you don't believe me, I want you to ask your nurse practitioner, ask your doctor, out of how many of your clients, your patients who come to you for FMLA, do they return to work not needing an accommodation? How many of them return to work not needing, additional time off because they've been injured, or they've taken medication maybe that they did not need, and they're trying to detox off of it. SSRIs and SNRIs are very difficult medications to detox off of. Brain zaps, diaphoresis, chronic constipation, misery, okay? And then not to mention the way that it severs relationships. Workplace issues already causes domestic issues, but then you want to add on mental illness diagnoses, and then stigma about the mental health diagnoses, prescriptions. Even if you don't take the prescription, you're getting a check against your own name because now there's a record of it. So we want to prevent all of these assaults that take place against you just because you are accessing your rights. You have a right to take 12 weeks off to address your own serious health condition. Workplace discrimination is a serious health condition that affects the mind, the body, and the destination of the soul. So here's what we got here. The nursing process applied to work fatigue is a nurse-led framework for assessing, addressing, and resolving workplace induced fatigue. So the assessment, before you take your FMLA, ideally when you do a 3-day intentional PTO before taking your FMLA, you want to sit down and have a good understanding of what's really happening. What are you up against? When did it come for you? And you want to be able to do that assessment in clarity with someone who is specializing in workforce care, someone who has specialized knowledge of, understanding of, and application of workplace policies in the areas of anti-bias, anti-discrimination, and anti-harassment with a focus on health equity. This is where we, after you take your work fatigue quiz, this is where we gather the objective and subjective information about the symptoms that you are experiencing. What stressor may be in your way? What's keeping you from being the best employee that you can be? And what the impact on your health and function is. And then after that, we go into what's called the nursing diagnosis. Now remember, I did this when I was on modified duty, and I was on modified duty for at least a year when I was injured at work. When the word of God tells you to study to show yourself to be approved, that's exactly what it means. Study to show yourself approved. Sorry. So horrible, but you know. My allergies are bothering me. So the nursing diagnosis. You want to look at what the root problem is. This is what your medical providers are not going to do. They're going to not want to talk about whatever is happening with you in the workplace, because to them they'll say something like, well, if work is bothering you that much, you might as well just quit. Some of you are up against a rock and a hard place. Some of you, what I like to call, have been pulled into holy ground. There is a burning bush in front of you that you have this complete awareness of, and you don't know what to do with it. And quitting is not an option for you. It's just not an option for you. And besides, here in California, and it might be across the nation, there is something called at-will employment. That does not apply when you are dealing with workplace discrimination and illegal activities. You still can quit if you want to. The outcome is not going to be good for you, because then you're going to have regret, and then you're going to have, you're going to be looking back, and there's going to be a lot of woulda, shoulda, couldas, and it's going to be a lot of mental and moral distress and injury based off making a decision in fear, knowing that your spirit was telling you to do something else. So at least you want to be able to sit down and identify what those environmental, occupational, and psychosocial factors are in the workplace contributing to your work fatigue. Then we can sit down and do planning. Okay, we can do planning, develop a collaborative plan involving your medical doctor, your psychiatrist, your attorney, whoever it may be who you need to deal with based off of the assessment and based off of the judgment of what's taking place. Then we plan. Do you need to do workers' comp? Do you need to file an administrative complaint of harassment? Let's get those paperworks and everything done properly before you even make a complaint. You begin to build your case. So this is a collaborative plan and approach with goals, resources, accommodation, and clear next steps for you to be able to overcome the situation without leaving your talents and gifts on the table, without harming your name and your future employability. And then we do interventions. What actions actually are going to reduce the harm? Like I said, right now, Black career women and registered nurses are taking their 12 weeks off, but they're not getting back to work better. They're getting back to work and now are needing an accommodation to do the very job that they were able to do before they went off for 12 weeks. So what happened? So we implement targeted interventions, education, documentation, and workplace strategies that support recovery and protect your health, your name, your employability. Then we do an evaluation. Is the plan working? Evaluate outcomes, measures, progress, adjust to the plan, and support sustainable recovery. This is the most complete system that today's workforce can absolutely have when they're dealing with issues in the workplace that is lasting them longer than 6 weeks and sending them into the doctor's office. I'm going to go ahead and end this video. If you have any questions or comments, please do not hesitate to contact me. You can leave a comment. If you want a link to the work fatigue quiz, comment fatigue. Until next time, be well.